Because it's been a while since I've done a Fordson 1954 Fordson Major, this is her here that everyone keeps watching the videos on. Part 2. It's only been a few years, so I do apologise. But there's a reason for that. It was put in a container and sort of semi-forgot about. Well, not really forgot about, but just had a lot of stuff to get into it. So, here's a bit detailed. I've done a short that you probably watched. But we've got the 6.6 that we're doing up as well. But that'll be another complete video of the 5.610 engine that we rebuilt. Starts like a dream, runs like a dream. Only got a slight oil leak on that, but other than that, it's not actually too bad. So the Fordson Major, we went to take the head off. Sadly, we noticed a piece broken out. And this is a cylinder head bolt that we ended up having to cut off. And as you can see, it is about as bent as anything. So we had to strip down another engine to get the extra bolts that we needed for her. We're going to clean all this up. She has been sitting for a while, so we'll give it a good wire brush and a good clean. I had this off a while ago, and so I knew what I was aiming for. We sacrificed this one. This block actually was a good running Fordson, but sadly, because it was left outside, all the gummages in her got stuck. So, but we're hoping to make this injector pump and the one out of my county, make one good injector pump out of a few others that I've got lying around, because she leaks a little bit, but other than that, we're all good. I have got to take this breather tube off here and put on to that one there as well. But other than that, all is good. The only thing we've noticed is that this one has the dowels in it, and I've never had a major head off before. I'm thinking these dowels are probably quite important, being that I've ordered 2 different style gaskets at the time, and this is from County Tractor Parts, County Tractor Spares Limited. If you got any county spares, they're the ones I get all my bits from. This is not a thing, but they got me this because my county is exactly the same. And I thought I needed it for that, but it turns out I'm using it for this. So I got this gasket, and I also got a copper gasket. And I'd like to use a copper gasket because, well, it's makes sense, really. I've got 2 rubber O-rings in there that goes in this hole here, I think it is, or this hole here. But these 2 is where the dowels sit. And as you can see, there's no real seal between there and there. Now, if I used this gasket that's in a nice box, I would have a seal. So if I can't get the dowels out, I might end up having to use that gasket. Which, don't know. But this head obviously is getting changed to this head, which is we took off the other one. We're going to clean up these, and I'll probably knock the valves out and regrind the valves in. And the reason being is if you look on here, this one here has got a nice little tip on it. This one here hasn't. That one hasn't, and that one has. So 2 and trying to work out which way the head is. 2 and 3, 2 and 4, sorry. Or is it 3 and 1? Oh, that's the front of the engine there. So that's the front of the engine. That's the second one from the back. So, got to look into that, which is a bit of a bummer. But this engine here doesn't actually look too bad, so we might end up giving this one a bit of an overhaul. It's not worn out inside too much. Obviously, it's got surface rust from where it's been sitting for years. But I think if we were to strip this down, hone it out, we could build ourselves another one. We'd have to find an injector pump, but that is it. We've also got, so that's the information on the 1954 Fordson Major. We have also got seals to change in the rear ends. As you can see, they are leaking. And I'm not quite sure where this oil's come from. I really don't. I can only assume it's coming from here. Well, that's what I'd like to think. It's coming at the end there and squirting all over here. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And then, but we'll do the 2 drive shaft seals, and then we'll get all the brakes and everything tidied up on them. I think these are drummed brakes. I think. I'm not sure on the majors. I know they're not like the super major anyway. So we'll get all that sorted out. Tow hitch obviously needs a little bit of work doing to it, but like I said, we're not here to get all this functioning just yet. we're here to get all that end functioning. Once we get that end functioning, we have got another issue with the high-low lever. So this is how much play it's got in there. So whether it's the hole's worn out or the pin needs to just be bigger, we don't know yet. But what I do know is that I have got another one of these, so we could end up replacing this whole head to a tighter one, and then it would be a lot better. This is your throttle here, which works on that side down there if you look, which then comes up to your manifolds. We've also got, this doesn't have a thermostat in it, so I don't know if they meant to have thermostats in them, or if they do or they don't. I will look online. If it's meant to have one, I'll probably get one. It turns out I never ordered a thermostat housing, thermostat gasket with it, so I'm gonna have to order a thermostat gasket regardless. So if I can get a thermostat, I'll get one. We'll clean up the manifold, get all that nice and clean, and make sure she is all prim and proper, because there's more oil in there than there is in Shanghai. And look at that, I can just, yeah, bit neglected, and you can tell by that she hadn't done much work, putted around a lot, by the amount of oil that is just caked on it. It's like, I don't know, grease basically. But what we're going to do is we're going to take all this apart, and then we'll sort all that out. We're also going to get another temp line for it, because that doesn't work, because the temp line's here. And I think we'll probably also get another oil pressure switch, because that is also buggered. We've got to get bolts to put in there, got to go around and put some bolts in. But there's the oil line along here, and it comes up into here. But as you can see, the gauge is quite hard to understand. Temperature gauge don't work, doesn't have a kill switch, the ignition switch don't work very good, and the wiring harness is pretty much shot. So we're going to basically strip this. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is a positive earth tractor, so when we redo it back up, we're going to turn it to a negative earth. And the reason why we're going to do a negative earth is, unless I can't for any reasons, is because it just makes it easier, so no one can make that simple mistake, because all my other machines are negative earth. But if not, we will keep this as a positive earth. This dynamo, I think, is all right still. So we're going to keep the dynamo, and we will resort out all the connections on the back and get it all nice and snug as a bug in a rug when the time comes. But other than that, I think we're making progress. She's still got oil in her, nice clean oil. But we're going to order a service kit for it once we get her running. She'll get parked up again for a short bit of time, and then we will give everything a good clean and a good tidy. I'm not sure what all this is part of. I don't know if anyone can lay a hand onto this, why you would have two. I really don't know. I can only assume that it draws air from in there as well as in there. So looks like it needs oil put back into the bottom of that, but I think this one leaks, so see if we can find a new one. Don't know what type of can that would have been back in the day. It's got England written on it. 1 and 11 to 1 and 1 2/3. Yeah, I think it says Imperial. Any ideas of what that can could have been? So might have to get a cap made up for that maybe. Still got the bonnet in the truck, we'll bring that in later in a bit. But yeah, other than that, as far as I was aware, everything worked on it pretty good. We've got a bit of play in here, so got to see if we can tighten this up a bit. So if you wobble this, she's got a bit of play in there. So we're going to tighten up the knuckle there. A little bit of play in there, but nothing drastic. But you can, I think, tighten these ones with a cap on the end. Or is it this side? You can tighten the cap on them. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. We had a puncher on that side, and we've got a puncher on this side and one on the other side. So, but I have got to work out whether we're putting 30-inch rims on it, or if we're putting the actual proper Fordson rims on it. I'll probably end up putting 30s on it, just for the sake of having 30s on it. That also means that I could modify my dual wheels if I needed to go on it, maybe. Or I could put 34-inch on it and put some 34-inch clamps on it and have jewels on it if I needed it to. But in all fairness, I don't think this tractor's going to need jewels. We've got to get extra bolts for in there. We're going to clean this up. Now, we're not planning on painting this tractor because I think it looks quite cool in its working clothes. But we are going to give it a good clean, hopefully. We'll get some degreaser and spray over it and see if we can clean her up a bit afterwards and go for there. And yeah, so all happy. We'll now go on to the 6.6. We'll give you a bit of news on the 6.6. So the 6.6 is a 5610 engine that I rebuilt for the 754 that I done. We've got her in. So this 5610 engine had more hassle than I'd ever planned on putting onto an engine. So I waited 6 months for the engine kit, from organising it to paying it, for it arriving on the boats and all that. I also sent the injector pump and the 4 injectors away overseas via DHL. And it got in Spain, got stuck in Spain, or in Madrid. Then it went over to Germany, got stuck in Germany, and then finally it got to the UK, to where it got restored and got back. So by the time I'd paid everything, I had £1,000 invested, just over £1,000 invested in the injector pump and the thing. I can't remember how much the engine kit cost, but I'm pretty sure it was around £400 or £500, potentially could have been £600. I had all new injectors bought for it, and all new bearings from top to bottom. Everything was replaced inside, cranks were checked, everything was checked, and she starts like a dime. Now, I ain't got the proper starter motor on, because the proper Ford one is sitting down there at the moment, which we've got to just clean up the connections on, so we whacked this one on just to get it going. We have had this working. What I will do is I'll do a complete video, and I will describe through to you everything. But if anyone that was interested that watched it, this is now the 6610 engine, 6.6 engine, which was originally a 5610 engine. So I know that's not the right exhaust, but we just done it because it was loud when we were bringing it in the shed. In fact, this old girl done her first bit of work the other day, today. She actually pushed in the major. So, but yeah, so stay tuned for a video on that. Thank you for watching for the video on that, and there will be more videos coming. Hopefully we'll get some recordings of it starting up or not starting up. So we'll see how that goes.